Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I am Raudhah. I'm postgraduate student from University Putra Malaysia. I would like to share with you all about my research paper. The title is Identification of Suitable Methods in Handling Research in Urban Park Design for Elderly in Kuala Lumpur. And this is a systematic review paper. So I will start my presentation with the introduction parts, and then I will go through the methodology used for this research, the result that I gained from this research, and the discussion part. Lastly is the conclusion parts. So the increasing numbers of aging populations become a worldwide phenomenon. So it shows the importance for the researchers to study about these groups. Elderly group is suffering from incapacity and chronic illness. It shows the needs for a more open spaces to promote healthy lifestyle among them. So this is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being at all ages. In Malaysia context, Kuala Lumpur has been chosen because this is the densely population city area, include Adelaide. So from the Kuala Lumpur Structure Plan 2040, Kuala Lumpur aimed to be a vibrant and healthy city. So it is also aimed to improve the quality and diversifying function of parks and open spaces for all. So because of the increasing number, we see the previous research also have highlight the needs of the urban green spaces for the elderly groups. One of it is to provide the space for physical activities and also walks area, and this provides space for them to socialize and participate in any events. So lastly, it provides therapeutic gardens, anything that attracts them, for them to relax and also for them to get fresh air. So all of this is very important for their healthy lifestyle and also the elderly well-being. So when we focus only for one socio-demographic, elderly, this is user-centered designs. So we need to aware with the behavior, sensory, and cognitive abilities. So I want to know about the methods used in the elderly study for me to find the suitable approach for my study. So focus on urban park and design, and I found out that Prisma method is still undiscovered. So this led for the question, which is what are the method used in urban park design study among the elderly using preferred operating items for systematic reviews and method analysis. The research objective is to explore and analyze the existing method used in urban park design study among the elderly using a Prisma method. So actually, what is Prisma method? Prisma method is the way you filter the research articles in a systematic way. So I use two database, which is just Direct and Scopus. The reason for me to employ this index database because it maintains a high value in terms of the authenticity, the novelty, and the quality. So this number, as you see here, after I retrieve from the keywords elderly and urban and park, and then it's filtered again due to year 2016 to 2021. And then after that, I filtered due to the relevance articles. If the paper are double counting, I will remove one of them. And then only the full article access will be selected. Lastly, I filtered due to focus on methodological aspect. And I found out only 31 papers are selected for me to be reviewed at last. So this is actually the results for all the paper. I came up with the one table showing the authors, years, countries, and the method used in that research. So the last part shows the total of 27 of questionnaire used in this research in all the research. 15 of them use interviews, 8 of them use the field observation, and 9 of them use the other tools like GPS, GIS, and also the camera for gain any data. So I go through the objective of every paper and I find out that most of the questionnaire survey methods aim to identify variables, reliables associated with pro-environmental behaviors, which is they determine the quantitatively relationship strengths. So 15 of them use interviews, and interviews method is actually a good approach to grasping a complicated process or anything complicated information, such as in defining or expanding the urban spaces definitions, or anything that you want to understand, like if you want to understand the individual attributes associated with physical activities, you want to understand the elderly engagement with the urban green spaces, and you want to know the optimal value states to attract people to urban green spaces. 8 of them use the field observation or field trips. As we know, field observation, we want to know the condition of the sites, what the facilities, what the amenities, and anything that provided at the site at first. But other than that, we use the field observation to investigate the activity status of the older population in specific sites and the preferences. 12 of them use the mixed method research, which is, mixed method is a triangle data validation between the what influence the physical activities or anything with the behavior specific physical activities, and maybe you want to measure the relationship between the public space attributes and the physical activities. Lastly, 9 of them use new tools like pedometers, accelerometers, GPS, GIS, and GoPro camera. We use it for GIS software if you want to know any proximity to urban to public open spaces. New tools that suitable approach to elderly, because elderly have a mobility issues while visiting the parks. But however, it needs an extra cost for the tools and also extra time to explain to teach them to use the tools correctly. So besides that, we need to know the behavior, sensory, and cognitive abilities among the group, which is the elderly group. In the COVID-19 pandemic situations, we need to have distance, and also we need to communicate them approximately shorten time, like 15 to 30 minutes, which is the elderly group is also need to give a support and attention if you want to gain a perfect response. With the time 15 to 30 minutes is suitable for them to understand the question or also to respond with a good word. And thus the conclusion of this study is we found out that still a variation in methodology and study design. It shows that researchers are dubious which approach best for the research and to make its goals. And for me, my aim of my research is to find the best approach for the studying park use and the design characteristics in the park for the elderly. So for me to understand the areas and to investigate the behaviors of elderly and how they use the park, I use the field observations. And then for me to gain a web information about understanding about them in the spaces, I use a semi-structured interviews. I use the on-site interviews because it can obtain the realistic or better accuracy data because it happened at that site. And then lastly, I use the in-depth interviews among expert and professionals for me to gain the information about the park characteristic and design. And also I can know their opinion and the view about that things. So this study contribution is to raise a public awareness if you want to do some research, particularly for involving the elderly people. So that's all for my research. Thank you for lending your ears. Thank you very much.